the husband, it especially means don't let this happen to you. And then when the policeman comes with the Uzi and begins firing on everybody under the carport. Why standing under a carport? Basically, cars is something to get you where you're going, your business, your ministry, your job. Carport would be where you rest from that, from worldly concern. You put your car under it, you rest there while you're resting. So now you have a policeman who is firing an Uzi at you that turns out to be, I guess you were under the carport?
I was on the side.
You're on the side.
So I wasn't under the carport. I was just watching all of this
and
happen.
then he turns to fire it on
at
you.
me.
Okay. So basically it's saying, the dream is basically saying, don't let what your father how he's lived his life, happen to you. If you do, it'll give rise to authority that will rise up against you, that will try to set you back. This authority, and the water gun aspect of it, sort of bullets mean it's not real authority, but it's perceived authority. And perception becomes reality, and then you end up being attacked by this perceived authority. So it's a warning dream. One of the categories of dreams, one of the 20 categories is warning dreams. It's warning you, there's traits that you have that are just like your dad. Don't allow these traits to become you. The trials you're going through right now should become fertilizer for your life, not deterrents to your life. And if you'll avoid the workaholic issue, you can become great. If you don't, you give place to illegitimate authority to attack you. And it may not seem significant. It's significant enough to throw you off course. Okay?
And
Bless you.
you're surrounded by grace that's bigger than you are.
Yes. Grace that's bigger than you are. Very good. Thank you. Keep doing that. This is good. Yes.
Hi. Great. My dream starts with me standing in really lush green grass. It's emerald green, the most beautiful grass I've ever seen. And I must have been barefoot because I remember it being so soft as I walked through it. And as I'm walking, I look up, and the sky is just an amazing, pure blue. And the sun's shining on my face, and it's just a bright yellow, and it's warm, and it feels great. Mm-hmm. So I walk through the grass, and as I walk through the grass, I get to an elevated railroad trestle, gravel on both sides. So I cross the trestle. On the other side of the trestle is an open-doored warehouse. There are no doors, but it's just open, and it's huge. And I walk in the warehouse, and I marvel at the huge steel beams that are inside, because there are bays that are 3 and 4 bays high, and I'm looking up thinking, this is huge. And I walk through that part of the warehouse, and I reach the second part of the warehouse that's more of a normal ceilinged warehouse, and all the shelves are regular height. But on all of those shelves there are boxes, and the boxes are covered in dust. And you have to look really carefully at the boxes to see what are in the boxes. And I'm specifically looking for a beautiful cup. Mm-hmm. And I know that I'm looking for this beautiful cup, and nothing else is going to do. And I notice another couple in the warehouse, and they're looking for the same thing. And as I look at the boxes, I notice that there is a bowl that is similar to this cup, but I'm not interested in the bowl. And I asked the sales lady, do you have any of these beautiful cups? And she said, no, we have the bowls. And I said, no, I'm looking for the cup. So I leave. As I leave the warehouse, I approach the trestle again. But this time there's a witch like from Wizard of Oz, and she's on a broomstick, and she's flying around, and she's trying to throw me off the trestle. And I'm afraid, but she doesn't throw me off. And I realize that I need to go home and research it and find out what I need to do to deal with her. And I realize I've got to come back and overthrow her. Mm-hmm. And I don't leave the trestle, but it's like that realization that I need to research it happens within a second, and I'm back at the trestle. And I approach it again, and I cross over, and she comes back at me. She's flying, trying to throw me off. And I close my eyes, and I windmilled my hands, and I must have thrown her over, because when I opened my eyes again, she was gone. And I knew I had defeated her. And that was the end of the dream.
You're kind of like a whirling dervish.
Yeah.
Yeah, rejoicing in the Lord. That's good. Well, the dream basically says that the place that God has got you in right now, He has prepared you to go look for things that have been in storage for a long, long time. Specific things, like this cup. You go into this warehouse, the support system there seems like overkill for just cups and bowls. And the dust that's there says nobody's been looking for these for a long, long time. The overkill of the structure indicates how important it is that nothing happens to these bowls. It wasn't like made out of straw, so that anything that fell on it could just crush it. The building was you said giant beams, and you were marveling at the giant beams. That says there's an infrastructure here to protect that is valuable. Even if nobody ever finds them, they're still valuable. So God's prepared you to find what has been waiting for a long, long time, probably years or decades. You're searching to find specific issues because that issue is what you're called to do, not what somebody else is called to do. If you find that cup, that's a specific issue. It's like drinking the cup that God's called me to drink. If you find that cup, you'll know that you'll be able to accomplish what there's a sense of well-being that you know you'll have. You're going back out, and you encounter the witch. That witch has stopped everybody else from doing what you're doing. That's why that's why they're all full of dust. You go back, you do what it's going to take to do it. You do the research, you find out the answers, which indicates you read the Word of God. You find the solutions there. You come back across the trestle, the bridge, and you encounter the witch again. But this time you know what to do. You whirl your arms, you said. That's like rejoicing in the Lord. Worship, rejoicing, knowing what God will back you up. She dispels, and you go back into the warehouse. Now, but it stops there?
No, it stops once I throw the witch over the
Okay, so
side.
you don't go back into the warehouse. So the witch is gone. Now the option is, now, what is it that God's called me to find that everybody else got scared away from? There's something that people got scared away from that you want me to find, and it's important.
That's the next dream.
That's the next dream, or revelation of some kind from God, but He'll give it.
Right,
Yeah.
thank you.
Bless you. Yes, ma'am.
I woke up this morning about 4. And
This morning?
Yeah, about 4, and I went back to sleep. Dream started. I was taking my car to the shop and letting this man look at it. The man wanted me to go to the store for him, but he was very affectionate in a fatherly-like way, very affectionate in a fatherly-like way. Then it changed to something else. I was taking a sheet, a gold-colored sheet.
Like a new scene happened.
Yeah. A new
Okay,
scene. Yeah,
all
new
right.
scene. And I put the sheet in the dryer. Another scene. We found out that my stepdaughter, Sonia, had cancer. And I told them she didn't have to die, that God could heal her. And then I was talking to some lady about getting married. And I said we would hear the angels singing at a wedding, and it would be a joyous time. And
You getting married, her getting married?
yeah, in the dream.
She was or you were?
I was.
You were getting married?
Yes.
Okay. And you'd hear the angels at that
We
time?
would hear the angels
Okay.
at the wedding.
Okay.
At the
All
wedding.
right. All right. So here's the meaning of the 4 scenes. First scene, affectionate father. Car that you're driving means what God has called you to do, and the Father is overseeing that. Okay? Scene number 2, you're in. You have a gold sheet that you're putting into the dryer. Okay? Gold. That gold sheet represents sheets represent covering. Gold represents the holy calling that you have. So but it must have been wet in order for you to have to put it into the dryer.
Yes.
And the wet means that it's been cleaned from historical stuff. Something from your history, family, bloodline has been cleaned from that. Then the third dream was that, what was the third dream? Because the fourth dream was the wedding. The third?
We found out
You found out your daughter had
Yes.
cancer. So basically it says there's an attack coming against your daughter. Pray that will be lifted, because that's the gold sheet's key to that lifting. And then number 4 is as proof that your father was in the first dream. The second dream is that there's going to be, your joy is going to be made complete, and that your father has got that all in line. Everything will fall into line. Okay? So very good. Very good. Yes, ma'am.
Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
This is a reoccurring dream. I keep having it and having it and having it. I go back to my old neighborhood where I used to live in Chicago, this one specific house. It's a brick house, and the roof is damaged. There's a fire constantly going in the back room, and I'd be upstairs. I'm always taken to this house